All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome into another Roulette Rivals 8 matchup this evening between Tnort and the Buff Guy. I am joined this evening for this very exciting shoutcast by the one and only Gunthermation. Say hello, Gunther. Or don't say hello, Gunther.
Sorry, I was muted. This, Barb, is why you need to join the voice channel before you introduce me.
That's
so
true.
That we know. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Barb. Very, very pleased to be with you this evening for this match.
I like to surprise you. You know, I do that
keeps
to
me on my toes.
Yeah, I do that to most of my co-casters. I'll sort of like just say hello everybody and then I jump into the channel. But really, what I should do is just jump into the channel and then greet everybody. Yeah, it's a process that's constantly under refinement. But I appreciate
Always
your notes.
Under construction.
Yes,
always under construction.
And we have this is a crazy match that we have tonight. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, two of the loudest, most foul-mouthed players going head-to-head, really to assert their dominance. So I don't know if you have the player audio coming through, but at some point, one of these two guys is going to shout and scream and stuff. And that's one of the reasons why we love watching Tnort and the Buff Guy. They're so passionate about their Hitman play. They're so into the stuff that they do. It's amazing. They're great players. They're really into the game. I'm looking forward to seeing how they match up against one another.
Yeah, same here. This is a first to 6 matchup. This is a console winners bracket round 4. So we'll take a look at the brackets after this matchup here. Not sure who their opponent is that they're going to be facing off against next, but we would definitely have that information before the close of this matchup tonight. Yeah, this is crazy. Buff Guy is extremely well known in the community. He's produced a lot of a video roulette series on YouTube that's like extremely helpful and for both new players and more practiced players as well. Tnort is one of our server security admins, I believe, as well. So he's been around and he's been a part of the community for a while. Obviously, extremely well practiced and been around the block several times. So yeah, this is a Clash of the Titans sort of matchup, a title card matchup. Oh, and the winner of this match will be facing Joker J. Okay, thank you for that update, user. So yeah, that's going to be just big matches on top of big matches on top of big matches at this point in the game.
Absolutely. Big match, big names in that, big Buff Guy over on the right side of your screen. And our first map up is going to be Hokkaido, which is Tnort's pick. You can see the lifetime performance records for both these players. 4-3 for Tnort and the 2-2 over on Buff Guy's side of things. And I mean, I don't see Tnort picking a map against Buff Guy unless he feels really confident in it. And looking over on Buff Guy's side, that pick, that Mumbai pick, you know that Buff Guy loves Mumbai. You know that he feels real comfortable on Mumbai. It makes sense to pick it against an opponent like Toby Norton. So our spin's about to be live. Really excited to get this one underway. Barb, you want to read this one out?
Sure. We have Eric Soders eliminated with an explosion disguised in the suit, and Yuki Yamasaki eliminated with a loud SMG disguised as a surgeon. So this, I really like that Eric Soders kill. That's extremely easy to get, but the fact that there is a surgeon kill in the spin here pretty much kind of forces both of our players to start surgeon, because otherwise that is a really annoying disguise to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the nice thing about Hokkaido is this does not force a suit start. There is obviously the suit that you can pick up from 47's room,
right?
Which will also count, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility to take that. The loud SMG on Yuki kill, I feel like is going to be clockwork, but like you said, it's the surgeon start is going to be the problem there, because if you wanted a loud kill with her by the gondola, that would be absolutely fine. That area is soundproofed after you take enough people down. It's also right by the exit, all that good stuff. But now you've got this disguise that's all the way across the map, and you're going to have to figure that part out.
Sure.
I do like Tnort's play here. Is he's gonna place the explosive on Soders
Mm-hmm.
to be detonated later, which is obviously a pretty good way of doing it,
Yeah.
and shouldn't be picked up or anything. It is one of the micro ones, so that should be absolutely hidden and fine. And he can basically trigger that as soon as he switches over to that disguise.
Right, and it's not suspicious at all that an explosion just kind of happens in the surgery suite, even though it's an explosive device. Soder's. It's perhaps one of the least conspicuous ways to dispatch him is with an overt explosion, apparently. So he doesn't
Yeah.
have to worry about getting red guns for doing that strat. So Tnort's set up to do it. Buff, I don't think, has set up the explosion yet. Just sort of heading right for Yuki.
Yeah, it seems like he just wants to get Yuki down immediately. He does appear to have his seeker, I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing, and that's the plan to get Yuki moving.
Could Seeker or could see a sort of tossed. Well, I'm not sure what we're gonna see here actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Buff guy's got
Okay.
a plan. He's definitely thinking about it, but if he is going for seeker, he's just got to wait for the head turns to go his way. She is gonna get sick. A bit of a whoosh from behind, but he is gonna be able to put the gun away. He gets one of Yuki's guards sick as well,
Mm-hmm. Just
so
one
that'll
less to deal
probably
with, I guess. Oh
yeah.
man. Almost got trolled by that guard there. So now he's got a safe spot to get this loud SMG kill on Yuki. Tnort is waiting to break into his own suite, 47 suite there, to get into the suit and be able to pull that trigger, get that explosive kill while he's waiting for Yuki.
There's the soundproof SMG kill by Buff Guy as a surgeon. So that is one of the kills done.
Nice.
There is the explosive kill over on Tnort. So almost synchronized kills, opposite kills from
Yep.
either player, but almost at the exact same time.
Really
Now
cool.
Tnort has to work on getting Yuki isolated. Now she's gone into her room, it seems. So he's
And
gonna have to wait for her to come back out.
Buff has the easier task here, I think, of just getting, running out into the garden, throwing an explosive baseball at the wall or golf ball, or, a number of other explosive devices, and then just exfiltrating. So I feel like I thought Tnort maybe was on the leading foot here with this, really fast and optimal strat, starting as a surgeon, placing the explosive. But I think Buff might, depending on what his strat is here, he might have the advantage.
Yeah, it's really gonna depend. So he does a nice toss distraction. So he turns these gardeners. Now he's gonna take out his explosive golf ball.
Should be it.
He's just being extra cautious.
Oh,
making sure
yeah.
that everybody's turned away.
That's it.
There's the toss. That's the explosion. Just waiting for Yep, there it is. That's the second objective down. And Tnort has to wait. He's opted to go for the spa, which is a nice place to get her in this kind of soundproof area. But I think the two seeker shots from Buff is just so unbelievably fast. He's just on his way to the exit.
Mm-hmm.
No chance of bodies getting found. Nothing like that. He's in a good spot for this.
That was really good stuff. Really, yeah. Tnort having to wait for Yuki, unfortunately. You're at the mercy of the target with their own timing. And, she approaches the spa around 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Unfortunately, he does get ripped there at the end, too, before I think he even knew that Buff had already finished the spin. So Buff is out in under 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Really good.
Under 4 minutes.
Really impressive stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so strong. I mean, any time you can just go into your opponent's map pick like that and just completely own it,
Mm-hmm.
that is just so incredibly strong. But especially going into the next pick, which is Mumbai, which heavily favors Buff. Buff has very much touted his love of Mumbai. He's obviously very capable and skilled. We've seen him do many, many cool, crazy things on Mumbai. I feel like that's got to be a huge air of confidence, especially going up an opponent like against an opponent like Tnort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So when something like this happens, like neither player, I don't think, had to restart on that run at all.
No.
And Buff just kind of instantly took that map pick from Tnort, so that's really gonna put Tnort on his back foot here heading into Mumbai, which is Buff's pick. So Buff is positioned to just have like a really good kind of like mental lead. You know what I mean? He's feeling confident. He's gonna get his momentum. He's taking his opponent's map, and he's going into his own map next, feeling bolstered by his previous win. Meanwhile, Tnort is feeling probably pretty nervous, pretty stressed out, just having lost his own map pick and now facing Buff on his. And as we all know, yeah, like you said, Buff is quite the Mumbai enthusiast, perhaps only second to Nega, who is, I think, the most reputed Mumbai enthusiast. So yeah, Buff definitely is looking really strong here, and I don't just mean physically.
Yeah, no, and I want to go back to what you said. You know, neither player needed to do the restart. Obviously, if it had been extended at all, Tnort would have had to do a restart there just because of the body getting found on Yuki. But even so, like, we are at the stage in the tournament where you can't really afford to restart ever. Like, your first run has got to be your run because of the competition that you're going up against.
Right.
You know, and I mean, we can see the lifetime performance stats right here. Tnort 2-1, Buff Guy 3-2-1. But if you look down at the yellow bar at the very bottom, Buff Guy actually holds the map record set in RR7 for this map. So this is definitely a map that he feels comfortable with. He knows what he's doing on it. It's his pick, and he just took his opponent's his opponent's map off of him. You know, that's good. But at the same time, these players, as much as we like to joke around and stuff about how they do get very passionate about the game and such, they keep their cool. You know, I don't see Tnort seeing an 0-2 deficit and being like, oh well, I'm never gonna climb back out of this hole. Like, he's still a great Hitman player. Anything can happen. But you know, it's that nice breath of relief over on Buff's side.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Buff, look, I mean, we can kind of hear him a little bit there. He's chatty with you know, his own audience, I guess, who's watching him as you know, he's doing his competition here. He's really feeling the flow of things, I think, and he's in a good space. He's in a good competitive headspace. So this is good to see. And hopefully Tnort can kind of fight back a little bit here and maybe claw his way up to some even footing. It's unlikely, I think, that we can expect Buff to falter, but it doesn't mean it's impossible that he might. Just depending on, you know, factors that are even outside of his control. You know, just the game being hacky or trolly or, you know, whatever it's going to do.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. There can be a live kill that just causes too much grief. There can be a size grab that wastes time and throws off when he's supposed to get after any of the targets. I'll point out as well, so this is the last of the picked maps. It is 1st to 6. So the maps that we have after this are all picked by RNG. We have Dartmoor, Dubai, New York, and Sapienza.
Those first 3 maps are perhaps the fastest maps.
Fastest way that you could do it. Yeah, absolutely.
All RNG. So, very cruel a selection of maps.
You don't want to be going into Dartmoor at a 4-0 deficit.
Right.
That map can be a coin flip.
Or at all, because he's not a fan of Dartmoor, I believe. Yeah, we have our spin here. Gunther, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we have here on Mumbai?
You got it, Barb. So we have Wazir Kale with a shotgun, what disguised as the Kashmirian. We have Vanya Shah with the neck snap, what disguised in the suit. And we have Dawood Rangan with injected poison, what disguised as the Bollywood bodyguard.
All right.
Obviously, Snail Strat still completely viable for Dawood here. I mean, your Skywalk from that suit start and then the Kashmirian's a little bit out of the way, but not so much so that it's going to cause much of a problem.
Sure.
The shotgun can be silenced, so, you know, they can choose to bring it in. They can choose to grab one while on the map. It's really going to depend on where they want to go. But totally doable, and I don't see either player struggling with the spin whatsoever.
Yeah, and Tnort, I was going to say Tnort loaded in straight away, but then did just go into a replan here, so didn't like the loadout or overlooked some small decision in the planning phase can often have like a really big effect on how your
Yeah.
run goes. You don't want to forget a certain item. Sometimes that's all it takes for an entire strategy to fall apart if you don't have your emetic, or you don't have your snail, or you
Yeah.
don't have your fiber wire, or
Well, and it looked
whatever it
like
is.
his replan involved grabbing one of the lethal syringes. I think that he just didn't have one, and there's not one on the map that you can grab. So he had to do that replan. And thankfully, he caught it now rather than getting to the Dawood kill and realizing I don't have my syringe.
Sure.
Buff guy with the early in on the skywalk start here. He's gonna go ahead and knock out the holy man, and he's got the maelstrom completely isolated as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's wonder if he's oh, of course he will be using the brick lure. I know that he is a big proponent and big believer in the brick lure on this map.
Yeah, it's so handy. It's so necessary.
Mm-hmm.
He'll grab the brick. He's got he's left his briefcase there with his shotgun. It's a silent shotgun, so he'll be able to do the quick kill and then dump.
Yeah, bringing a silent shotgun, I think if you can build it into your loadout, that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There are shotguns that you can grab on the map if they so chose, but also like the way that this is routed, there's not really a shotgun that's kind of on the way, and so it does make sense why you would just go ahead and just pack it in.
Mm-hmm.
But Buff is he's making his way into the Trawl apartments now, and he's working his way over to where the Kashmirian is. Let's probably grab that, and then grab the kill real quick as well.
Yep. Yeah, the Kashmirian definitely is something that would adds a decent amount of time and kind of back and forth to the map. Just having he's sort of out of the way. He's up several floors and can be a little bit annoying to incorporate that run or that grab into the run, but very doable. Thankfully, not a hard disguise to get, just a little out of the way.
Well, and as a proponent of the brick lore, like that's one of the great things about Mumbai. The targets kind of move on your say so,
Mm-hmm.
and so in this instance, Buff just has to basically he gets to decide his timing. If he thinks that it's worth taking the time to do this, he's not beholden to any other target timing or anything like that. He knows he can move them whenever he wants. He's already got the maelstrom down. That's a good place to be when you kind of have complete control, and it's just like, all right, let me check off this list. And I don't have to be worrying about setting this up while I'm doing this because I moved them.
Absolutely.
Tnort is going to grab the Kashmirian disguise as well.
And
we'll likely see him get back over to the maelstrom as quickly as he can.
There goes Buff with the Kashmirian kill on Wazir, the maelstrom, and he gets him boxed up and is now back into his Pitbull Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide outfit.
Yeah, many of the Hitman suits are Pitbull inspired. Not a whole lot of people know that. So
fun fact.
All right, yeah, and Buff is he's running to grab his pickup. This is, his Vanya kill is a suit. He'll be able to grab a Bollywood bodyguard from the isolation on Dawood. It is a live kill that he has to do for Dawood, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to be able to sneakily grab one of those disguises. But it's going to be interesting to see how exactly he goes about doing it, because he needs to keep Dawood up in order to get this kill.
Yeah, and Tnort is catching up here. I mean, I feel like they've both made pretty similar progress so far. Tnort's just a little bit behind him because of that restart or that replan early on. It put him about 40 to 50 seconds behind him. But he's doing the same sort of moves. He's heading along the same path. He just got the maelstrom kill.
Yeah, and he's grabbed his suit, so he's on his way. Buff has actually dropped his suit off. He hasn't started his brick lore yet. He's dropped his suit off. I'm wondering if he's gonna go grab the Bollywood bodyguard disguise first, and then come back and start the brick lore, or maybe his plan is to grab the Bollywood bodyguard disguise, kill Dawood in his tower, which is possible, and then start the brick lore to just get Vanya alone. I'm not.
I mean, maybe,
sure,
but I also feel like I mean, Buff says, he's going on record as saying there's maybe only like one or just a handful of conditions where getting Dawood in his tower is more viable than using
Right.
the brick lure. So I mean, maybe he's just doing some work here with getting this the food vendor out of the way, because we all know this
I
guy's
think
a problem.
that is it.
That's probably just the extent of what he's doing. Or he will. Maybe he's just gonna deal with these guys on the
I'm not
barge.
sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. I'm very interested in seeing what exactly he does here.
Oh no! Oh no, Buff.
That's the rough. That's so rough.
Yeah. That I didn't like the angle on those local security guards on the barge there, as you that is a spot where they can rip you depending on where you're
Where they're
tossed.
swiveled.
Yeah, it's all about the angle of which direction they're facing, and I thought maybe he had that whoosh, but he pulled enough that they turned to face him, and just really unfortunate rip there from Buff. Tnort has a huge advantage now.
Yeah, and he's got the thing that I'd point out is, Buff doesn't have himself a silenced pistol, and it's way more of a sure thing if you shoot those pipes, because it does turn them kind of far and away from you. Whereas that one, it was more, they were turned and they were parallel. But I mean, even if Buff just got a little bit more lucky with a head turn there, he would have been fine.
Yeah, just the slightest degree of angle probably would have kept him fine. But that's the way it is sometimes in Hitman. Just the angles don't line up, and it can be as something as simple and subtle as where a distraction lands.
It's great for Tnort because he needed the time to get his stuff set up as well, and it looks like he's working on getting his way into the tower as well.
Yeah, this is interesting. So
both players opting not. And I mean, maybe it's just because it's a disguise that you can get over in the tower. I'm not sure the rationale behind it, but I trust both of these players. If they're making this call, it's probably the right call.
Yeah, for sure. Buff was going to go about this a different way, I'm pretty sure. After clearing off the barge, he was, I think, going to go back into the brick lure, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, Tnort's going for this Dawood kill in the tower, I'm pretty sure. So that may be what Buff was on track to do as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Tnort just has a better way in instead of going across the barge. He's just straight in. He's next to the elevator shaft if that's what he chooses to do. And this is something I've actually heard Buff compliment Tnort for. So Tnort will go into his inventory and just sit there for a second. And sometimes it's because he's reviewing the spin. He's kind of collecting himself. He's using it essentially as a free pause screen to make sure that he's doing the right thing. He's got the right item, whatever it is, before he does anything that is a decision or a bell he can't unring. So,
oh no!
Oh, who? Through the window.
Whoa!
No. I know that can happen, but that's so rare.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
No. Both players getting just the slightest bit of unlucky.
Wow.
Spots that normally you can get away with.
Maybe it must have had something to do with the fact not only was he trespassing, but also had a shotgun on his back. Doesn't that make your suspicion meter fill up faster if you're carrying a large weapon?
If you're illegally armed, but I think he was a guard. I don't know if that applies the same.
Yeah, he was
area.
Yeah, it was trespassing. It was
that bar filled up so quick.
Yeah, it really did.
So quick.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate.
There is a window there. I know that you can be seen through that window, but it is not common. It is not likely. But I'd also question why go up those stairs. What was his rationale behind that?
Yeah,
when the elevator shaft was right there. He was climbing up the elevator shaft to get to those stairs.
I don't know what he was thinking with that.
And then he gets a little bit of unluck there, knocking out the Holy Man too early. The Maelstrom is going to hear that, and he's going to get ripped and have to restart again. Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Buff is setting up this the train yard here for eventually. I mean, whether we, it's probably a safe bet that he's gonna go for Dogwood. He's either going to set up the barge, clear off those guards on the barge, and then use the brick lure to bring everybody out to the meeting, or will advance into the tower like Tnort was to get that injected poison on Dogwood up there. But I'm leaning more towards Buff just setting up the barge and then going back to throw in the brick. I think
Yeah.
that's more likely what we're going to see. But Tnort obviously wanted to get that injected poison kill
Yeah.
in the
Well, and
tower.
I don't know exactly what Buff Guy's plan is, because he's got the snail, so he doesn't have to worry about the barge guys. What he does have to worry about is grabbing the Bollywood guard disguise, because the Bollywood bodyguard is what he needs to do the live kill. And while he will have it delivered to him if he does the brick lore, I'm curious to see what exactly his plan is to get the disguise change.
Okay, well,
He's gonna be able to get past the barge. Yeah, he's opting not to knock those guys out. So he's definitely planning to go into the tower. He's just going a different route than Tnort is. Tnort's gonna be grabbing his agency pickup here.
this is very interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that this would be a kill that you would try to get in the tower if I were Buff Guy.
No, but like I said, like I trust if both he and Tnort
Oh,
are
sure.
like, this is the way to go about it. Like, I trust their roulette instincts way more than I trust my own.
For
Buff
sure.
Guy's gonna risk this. He's just gonna go straight up here and try and get into a position to subdue. He will make it in time. I was very worried that he was gonna start moving. Opts to use a trank dart. That's actually really smart, depending on where he plans on doing the kill here, because people have been known to wander through this elevator shaft.
Sure.
He actually has. You know what? He might be going back to start the brick lore now.
Really?
I think he is. I think he is, because he's heading himself out, and I think he's gonna go start the brick lore, take care of the kill on Vanya, switch back into his Bollywood crew disguise, do the snail lore, get that taken care of, and then get Dawood as he's panicking over the fallen bodies.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it's easier to get Dawood that way versus trying to find some opportunity to get him while he's up there in his tower.
Yeah.
See,
I think that's the smart way to go about it. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, because Dawood does panic, and sometimes when NPCs panic, they can move a funny way, and I'm worried about what that's gonna do to the inject prompt.
yeah, that could be some weirdness for sure. And I can also I feel confident that what Buff and Tnort are planning to do then would be the smart thing to do, because it is opposite of what my instinct would be to do, which is to try to find a way to get the kill while I'm up in the tower. So it makes sense, it tracks that that Buff and Tnort are actually doing what's the real big brain move.
And I feel like and that's good. Buff is dropping off the Bollywood bodyguard disguise over here, so he's also got that ready to go, so he doesn't have to worry about doing the change right after he takes out Vanya. He's got his suit already set up. You can see he's got that brick in hand. He's gonna go get himself the brick lore going. Tnort also just started the brick lore, I believe. So Tnort has changed strategy. He's not going to deal with the tower.
Yeah. He's gonna try to make it work, and this might, depending on how he finesses this might give him, that time to catch up, because that was quite a detour for Buff to go up there, get that disguise, then get back down. Whether it was necessary or not, we'll see. But if Tnort can swing this without having to do that, then nice choice of weapon there. The frying pan, one of the most satisfying melee items in the game.
It's quite helpful. Yeah, now Buff is just waiting for Vanya, because she's on the move. He should be able to get if the knockout chain goes well, which we usually see, a lot of people have that fairly practiced at this point. He's got himself swapped back into the suits, so he's ready to get the next snap kill whenever he takes care of all these guards and Rima.
Wow. And Buff gets it, makes it look very easy. Gets the neck snap on Vanya there in that in his suit.
Very, very cleanly done. And now he's already got the disguise. I mean, he's going to be way ahead of Dawood. He's going to have to wait on him for a bit. But, I mean, he's got the snail. He's got everything set up the way that he wants. As long as he doesn't get an unfortunate prompt that, spins Dawood and punches him or something like that, he should be good to go.
Yeah, it can always be a little bit nerve-wracking when you save something like a fiber wire kill or a poison kill for the last kill, especially on a three target map. If something goes wrong with that prompt and you get GRB'd, one of the most cruel things that the game can do to you, and there's wall hacks and there's weird NPC behavior and stuff, but when you get a GRB, it's so egregious when it happens. It's kind of funny to me whenever you see it happen, because it's really just like the game being like, F you, you're not going to get the prompt that you thought you were going to get.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate, because I know that a lot of players will have that spin punch in the face thing happen, because they are worried that they're running out of time, and so they'll just run up and do it and not wait for the prompt to come up, and that type of stuff causes so many issues.
And sometimes it happens even if you do have the prompt. It's worth mentioning.
True.
But
that is also true.
Yeah.
Happens less so than it used to in 2016, but it definitely is a commonplace thing. Tnort is well into the tower now. Buff has started the lure. He's bringing the taxi driver over. He's got his snail ready to go. This should be textbook. I mean,
switching into the bodyguard disguise now. It's going to put Dawood in lockdown, seeing that many targets fall over. I'm pretty sure.
No, he should be good. Dawood will run over to check them first.
Okay, and
then that's most likely when he'll get his prompt to do
Wow, he gets it. That's awesome. Making it look so easy.
And and that was a weird turn for Dawood as well, so lucky that he was able to still get it. But also, when it comes to console play, pressing buttons on the controller that cause those silent injection attacks and stuff can cause so many issues with accidental neck snaps and stuff. And yeah, so Buff Guy's going to get confirmed there. Ahead 4-0. So heartbreaking for Tnort. He had the unfortunate rip through the window there. I really wish that we could have seen that run all the way through and just seen what he had done with it, because he's got his Bollywood bodyguard disguise now. I feel like he was well on his way to finish that. Didn't quite go Buff's way at the beginning, but then it didn't go Tnort's way, and that puts Buff at a 4-0 going into Dartmoor of all maps.
Yep, and that's what you said. You wouldn't want to be Tnort in that position, and now Tnort's in that position, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to see these guys go the distance. These are two powerhouse players, great at Hitman. That scoreline is not even remotely close to how well Toby's been doing.
Sure.
So I'd really like to see him be able to pull it back, force us to go the distance. Let's see some more maps between these two. But Buff Guy's in a very commanding spot right now.
Yeah. Yep. Took starting off the match by taking Tnort's map pick, following it up by winning his own map, and now heading into what is generally regarded as one of the fastest maps to get through and to complete a roulette spin on. If not Dartmoor, they might make an argument for New York, but one of those two. And even if Tnort does win this and prevents Buff from getting, being the first one to 6 points and forcing us to go to another match, it would be Dubai, which is another map that, and then after Dubai is New York. So all of the
Which
RNG,
you just mentioned, yeah.
yeah, all of these RNG map picks are the speedrun maps. They're the ones that where there's such a small margin for error, if there's a margin for error at all. And against an opponent like Buff Guy, there really is no margin for error. He had a chance. He had a chance on Mumbai because Buff did rip once.
Yeah, but then he wound up ripping as well. And I mean, he had the same idea we saw there at the end when he grabbed the bodyguard disguise. He was also heading out. His plan was to also just do the brick lore and then get Dawood outside of the pier, the same way that Buff Guy had done it. So, or Barge, excuse me. But I'll point out too, so this is Dartmoor, and then we've got New York. There have been additional complications added to those two maps, specifically to make them a little bit less coin flippy. So we will have the kill condition for Alexa, but also there will be a disguise condition for getting the blue objective, as part of this map too. And same thing will go for New York when that comes up as well. So definitely not out of the realm of possibility that we see some complications for these two players, but I don't know. Like, I feel like we're gonna need something out of this. And looking at the lifetime performances of both players, Tnort's 1-3, Buff Guy's 1-1. We've heard both of these players very vocal about not really liking Dartmoor as a deciding map, not really liking Dartmoor being in the map pool at all.
Sure.
So, it's gonna be interesting seeing how they go about this.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier during a different shoutcast that I think that these additional complications sort of make these maps more interesting. However, I also understand that players who are already not a fan of these maps in the context of Roulette aren't suddenly now going to be a fan just because there are some additional changes. Like, I respect that, but I think that it does add an additional layer of complication and just planning that they need to account for, things that kind of heighten the risk, things that draw out the map a bit, and so more interesting, I think, to see spins play out with these sort of additional complications. But like I said, if you're not already a fan of playing on Dartmoor, completing roulette spins on Dartmoor, this may not make you a fan, but I think it's a positive change. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. I think I think that's kind of, I haven't heard anybody say outright, "Oh no, this makes it so much worse."
Right.
Like I think everybody's on board for this, and it's an art, not a science.
Exactly.
As more players kind of develop more strats and the skill level, the skill ceiling raises, this stuff changes and it moves and changes from tournament to tournament. And that's why we have different rule sets and stuff. And new kill conditions get added while new things get banned, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
I think that they're doing an excellent job at making this stuff as smooth and as competitive and varied as possible.
Speaking of varied, I just had an idea for what would be a cool possible tweak on the roulette formula is only illegal spins. So like double loud firearm kills.
Illegal roulette.
Yes.
And, it'll just be full of impossible kills that can't be done. I love it.
Yes, and anyone who signs up for that will be just totally wasting their time and insane. Yeah. Yes.
Every match ends in a draw.
Yes. Yeah. That's our thing.
I think we can get many of the powers that be, the names that are the names of Hitman, to sign up for such a tournament.
Oh yeah, we'll get them. But speaking of getting them, why don't you go ahead and break down this spin for us, Gunther?
Oh, you know it. So we have Alexa Carlisle using shears while disguised in the suit, and the case file needs to be obtained by grabbing the tokens while disguised as the mansion guard.
All right. So this will involve players needing to get those tokens off of Rebecca Carlisle and Mr. Fernsby, who are carrying those two halves of the tokens.
Yeah, and specifically in the mansion guard disguise. So,
right.
That disguise condition is really what throws the wrench in the plans. Same thing with with on New York. You know, if you have to collect the data disks or grab the data core, the disguise condition means you have to be in that disguise before you do the condition, or it does not count.
Right, like you can't you can't use a column or dart to make them drop their discs and then pick it up in the needed disguise. You need to like make them drop it in the needed disguise.
I'm actually not sure about that. If we have an admin in the chat, somebody do please clear that up. From my understanding, it's when you actually make the grab.
Oh.
But I'm not 100% sure. So if somebody could clear that up for us, that'd be awesome.
Chat's usually on it with their fact checking, and they're letting us know of when they complete the roulette spins.
If they don't get back to us, then I will look it up in the rules myself.
All right, so Tnort starting in the backyard and already has the garden shears in hand. Buff is making his way up through the second floor, climbing the pipe, going to be on Alexa's balcony in just a second here.
Yeah. I think Buff grabbed the shears on the way. I think Tnort went and grabbed the shears that were kind of out and away. There are shears that are on the way to the house from that behind the mansion start.
Sure.
But yeah, Buff is working on clearing this out now. We do the chat has answered. Everybody's fairly certain that it's just the grab that needs the disguise, so you don't have to do any of the setup or anything like that, which makes sense because that'd be fairly limiting. Oh, I did forget that there's shears up here as well.
Yes, there they are. All right.
Buff getting that shot off just barely in time. His guards very, very quickly will wake up their counterparts.
Now, hopefully Buff is not confusing this bodyguard disguise with the mansion guard disguise.
Oh, I'm sure this is just so that he can get around.
Yeah.
A little bit easier. But yeah, so that's Alexa down. And Tnort is going to have to make up some ground because she's actually heading on her way out right now.
Oh, Buff misses a dart, but it won't matter, I don't think.
Oh, shit, I only have one left.
Uh-oh.
He's still got one more, and that's all that he really needs. The downside being he only has one dart left.
Oh, I guess that caused him to restart, actually. He must have needed that second dart. Oh yeah, that's right, for pacifying. I mean, I guess you could try to get them, you know.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's restarting, because I know Fernsby, you can very, very simply get Fernsby without necessarily needing a trank dart, but
Tnort restarts too.
Oh no. Oh, he did have I think he had an orange guard on the ground. I think he might have knocked out Alexa before the knockout animation actually completed.
Wow.
Both players are shouting. Both players are very frustrated with what just happened, but
yeah,
they don't realize that synchronized, they both had bad things that happened in their game.
It's still
so
pretty,
really 20 seconds apart.
It's very even right now, but mentally they're not thinking that. Mentally they're thinking like, oh god, now, you know, Tnort's gonna win now, or Buff Guy's gonna win now, and yeah, so they just need to manage their own kind of expectations and manage their nerves as they just continue on here.
Yeah, they've got to keep a cool head when it comes to this stuff, because you can't tilt. You can't get in your own head about this stuff, or you just will continuously make the same mistakes. It's happened to every Hitman player. We get in a rhythm, that rhythm gets interrupted, and then all of a sudden, we can't do anything. We can't do the most basic of things. You got to take that deep breath and understand, like, okay, I've got this. I can do this. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tnort is. I think that's honestly the biggest difference here. Is Tnort goes for his pickup,
and then just does a detour there to grab his shears, but has a bit of troubled routing here to the front of the mansion. Then
so much whoosh. There's so much whoosh, and he's going such kind of a roundabout way. It's adding so much time, and I think that was the problem with the last one, was he was trying to catch himself up to where Alexa was. Buff Guy's advantage is he's obviously up here well before, but Buff he's got a little bit of an issue here, because if did he manage to get him before that guard woke up his friend?
Uh-oh.
I think he did. Okay, excellent. That was very, very close.
Nice.
Oh no, wait.
No, he's fine. That was He was still
Oh,
he was shaking
okay.
it. You know, he was like wiping off
He
his.
didn't turn
Yeah.
around. That was so close. I was so worried about that. I thought the other one I thought for sure was gonna get woken up, and that didn't happen. But yeah, so Buff now just needs to grab his mansion guard disguise so that he can go about, and he does have enough darts this time. Hopefully, he's a little bit more careful shooting around this bush.
Yeah.
Tnort is making his way up, but he's at about the 130 mark here. I'm not exactly sure where. Okay, so Alexa is still comfortably in her screaming room.
Mm-hmm. That is the official name for that room, by the way.
Yeah,
It says it on the
if you look on the
plans.
map,
Says it for the
yes.
plans. Yeah.
very very clearly.
Oh no, Tnort just missed a dart.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, and he's got the kind of the psychic compromise right there as well.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Alexa, I think
Okay.
Alexa saw it and just passed the information to that guard like right
Just
away.
so instantaneously, yeah. That's so devastating. Well, Buff Guy has grabbed one of his 2 tokens that he needs.
One from Fernsby, now just needs to get the other from Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca's in that room.
Yes.
He's peekabooed this house staff out here, so he's gonna have to. I mean, he's in not the worst spot for this.
It's not the best spot either.
Yeah, but she goes through this area. She's coming through right now. If he can hit this moving shot, he's only got the 1 dart left.
All right, he's got it.
Yeah, he nails it. Fernsby's been found, but he's got the he's got the 2 tokens. He's outside. He can grab that the hearse key, and I'm not sure is the guard on the hearse. Is he an enforcer?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, he's just got to turn him.
Nice. And he's out. GG's,
excellent.
Buff.
That should be 6-0. We'll wait for admin confirmation, obviously, but so heartbreaking for Tnort because he just couldn't get anything going. You know?
Yeah, Buff was really on his game tonight here. I think he's in a really good place. He's in exceptional form, and really just kind of dealt a crushing blow to Tnort right off the bat with just snatching Hokkaido from him, you know, in under 4 minutes. And then playing extremely well on Mumbai and really not messing up. I mean, to be fair, they did each mess up, you know, on Dartmoor here, but Tnort was definitely on the defensive, and Buff just crushed it, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, you point out a really good point here where, yeah, we saw mistakes on both sides, but the mistakes worked out more in Buff Guy's favor. Tnort couldn't get he couldn't really get stuff going over on Dartmoor when he needed to. Buff Guy had a few restarts as well, but was able to get it together a little bit earlier. With the Mumbai thing, Buff ripped, and it looked like Tnort had it in the bag if he could just get the Bollywood bodyguard disguise under wraps, and then he rips late, which then puts Buff at a couple-minute head start, a couple-minute lead, and then that's where that match was won right there.
Right.
So both players still played incredibly well, but definitely went more in Buff Guy's favor in terms of the timings of when either player was able to mess up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was such a great matchup. Just sad to see that things didn't go a little bit better for Tnort, but you know, not to.
He's not out.
No, he's not out. He is not out. He will continue on in the lower bracket, losers bracket, round 5. We're going to take a look at the brackets here in just a second. So it's possible Tnort and Buff Guy will meet up again. You know, that's it could happen. Let's take a look at our brackets and see how things are going to shift around a bit here after the outcome of this match. So Buff Guy is facing off against Joker J in the semifinals, and then the winner of that match will go on to face the winner of the losers bracket. So we have Tnort facing off against who is that? Either Linux Penguin or Crudy. So Linux Penguin is facing off against Crudy. Winner of that will go on to face Tnort. We've also got K Kenny up there. Losers round 6 will be facing off against either Ducker or Fanium, the winner of that matchup. So that still needs to happen. That's gonna be really exciting to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, almost what is that? Just 2 matches away from the grand final.
Yeah, for the upper bracket, very much so. So whoever wins between Buff Guy and Joker J is going to be sitting pretty for a couple of lower bracket rounds, and that'll be the grand final, first of our grand finalists.
It is nearly upon us. Only a handful of matches to go until the ultimate matchup of this Roulette Rivals 8 tournament. How exciting. Not much longer to wait for that to happen. Speaking of upcoming matches, let's take a look at the ones we have on the books. So, only 2 right now, but when those future matches do get scheduled, you can find them listed on hitmaps.com. So, upcoming matches, Danny Buta versus Frody, facing off on Chongqing and Santa Fortuna. That's going to be Sunday, May 22nd. I believe that's 2 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time.
Indeed. It's 11 a.m. over here on the West Coast.
Perfect. And that's Shoutcast by GK Punk. And then we also have Pajero versus McCullers facing off on Sapienza and Santa Fortuna. That's going to be Monday.
A whole day later.
Yes, the whole day later at same time, 2 in the afternoon, Monday, May 23rd. No caster for that yet, but we'll have one soon. I would like to thank our match admin, GK Punk. Thank you for putting in the work. Our match admins make these matches happen, so thank you for your time. And thank you to the viewers. And Gunther, thank you for joining me for this. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Let me invite myself into your cast once more. It's always a blast.
Anytime you would like to cast, you are always welcome to, Gunther. All right, we'll pay out our prediction there for Buff. Everyone enjoy your prediction points. And let's find someone to raid.
I think Buff should. I think he'll stay alive. He usually stays alive after a match.
If he does, then I support raiding Buff.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go congratulate Buff on a match well played.
Let's do it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. And we will see you all again very soon at the next one.